work out here. No slacking.
Hello guys, it's your boy D Valo back with some more boxing. Daniel Jacobs has said that he will not let Golovkin touch him. And that he's watched the Kell Brook fight and he's got a game plan to nullify Golovkin's power and to not get hit with those big shots that he has. And also part of his game plan is to nullify and smother the offense of GGG. Now, when I first saw this article, which was today, I thought, yeah, that's a good game plan. But I saw a few flaws in it, and the reason why I saw a few flaws on it goes back to my last video about Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs says the right things, but do I really believe him? Not really. But what he's saying about not letting GGG hit him, I'll tell you why that's not going to work. Yes, we all saw that fight against him and Kell Brook, and against Kell Brook, it made Golovkin look vulnerable. Golovkin was getting hit with shots, he was getting hit with uppercuts. Kell Brook was moving around a lot and scoring points, but the result of that fight was that Kell Brook got wounded, got really damaged, and yes, it was a mismatch. But it was also because of the style of which he was fighting Golovkin. Golovkin is also a counter puncher. And he's not just going to follow you all the time. If you press onto him, it gives him the opportunity to plan and set up his counter shots. Which I think his actual counter shots tend to be the ones with more power. Because look what happened to Kell Brook. He broke his eye socket. Now, a normal shot to the face could do damage, but he actually broke his eye socket. And I'm not actually sure what shot that actually was, but I'm thinking it was something that was coming down on him. Maybe that left hook he's got. But that was a very dangerous shot of Golovkin. So different people can say different things. It was very clear that that fight was a mismatch, and that Kell Brook is naturally welterweight, so he couldn't really deal with Golovkin's power as a natural middleweight. But still, he was hit with a massive counter shot, which practically ended the fight before it was stopped. So I feel like if Daniel Jacobs was to put on the pressure on Golovkin and try to smother his offense, he will be open to a massive counter shot, which could be curtains for him. And due to Daniel Jacobs' attitude and mentality, which I covered in my last video, if you haven't seen that, go check it out. I don't think that Jacobs really has the heart to go all out against GGG, since he talks about respecting GGG so much, and if he's a power puncher, if everyone's saying he's a power puncher, I'm going to be staying away from his hardest punches. And I think it's not the ones that you expect that knock you out. It's the ones that you don't expect, which come from different angles while you're punching, or when they beat you to the punch, or certain situations, counter situations, is when you're likely to get knocked out. Look what happened to Curtis Stevens. He was backing up into the ropes. He felt comfortable at that point. As he was throwing his shot, David Lemieux was throwing his shot. And it just happened that while he was open, he got caught with a brutal shot, and that ended the fight. So I feel like if Jacobs really pushed hard onto Golovkin, he'll be open to a big counter shot. And due to his kind of attitude, I don't think he's going to even want to do that. The way he's talking is like he's preparing to cover up and all sorts. Like every time Golovkin looks like he's about to throw a big shot, he's going to be covering up and trying to frustrate Golovkin by not allowing him to throw bombs. But I think Golovkin reacts differently to different levels of opponent. Yes, he hasn't fought anyone to on Jacob's caliber in terms of middleweight, but he has fought people which he has felt like is a threat, and he's boxed them differently. What a lot of people miss out when talking about Golovkin is he also has a good jab, and he uses that jab to disrupt his opponent when he feels like his opponent is trying to pressure him. So he's not just a straightforward pressure fighter. He also uses other skills and other of his weapons to take control of the fight. Another thing which made me question Daniel Jacobs' motives and game plan is the fact that when I'm looking at GGG's game plans and when I'm looking at what Tom Loeffler is saying, of course it's all going to be about GGG's power, but he also said that if Daniel Jacobs expects, if Daniel Jacobs can last, is the way he puts it, 12 rounds, he's going to get punished by Golovkin. So basically, if this guy thinks that he can dodge punches for 12 rounds, he's going to get battered in there, is what Tom Loeffler GGG's team is saying. And I'll tell you why I agree with that. The reason why I agree with that is because, as I said before, GGG has other techniques and other tactics to win the fight. He's not just about one punch. He varies the power in between his punches, and he's more of a body puncher now. So he's not always going to be trying to knock you out. But if you're pressuring him, then he will disrupt you with his jab. If you're in his face all the time, then he's going to hit you to the body. And so if you try and really pressure him, he's going to soak up that pressure and take it through the 12 rounds. And since part of his game plan is to wear you down, I don't know if Jacobs can really absorb all that pressure, because in fact Jacobs' style is not really suited to that. In his fights, he tends to overbear his opponents before it gets to those later rounds and wins. So if he thinks he can go through to a 12 round, win a 12 round unanimous decision, or be able to soak up all of Golovkin's pressure, I don't think that will be a smart idea, and I don't think he'll be able to do it. If he does, that will be very good on him, and I don't think any other fighter would have been able to do that. So that would really shut up GGG's team and Tom Loeffler. If Jacobs could go 12 rounds with this guy and not get knocked out, they feel like that's not gonna happen, basically. And I can see why, because GGG is looking to wear you down. He's not just looking to knock you out with one punch. If you come at him, he's gonna use his jab, and if you're backing off from him, he's gonna hit your body. And let's just see how long Jacobs can deal with those hefty body punches to his gut and his ribs and his liver, and all of his internal organs will be getting turned into mincemeat. Let's see how he deals with that. There's more than one way to knock somebody out. It's not always that hitting that button on the chin. If you hit someone with a sweet shot to the right place in the body, knock all the air out of their lungs, they can't fight. And when they get back up, they're open, their hands drop. Golovkin has a way to make your hands drop as well. I've watched his fights, and I've seen him at the start, he was just headhunting, typical pressure fighter. But as he's had more fights, doesn't matter who the caliber of his fights, as he's had more fights, he's become more of a body puncher, which makes him more dangerous, since he's not just trying to knock your head off all the time. He's battering you round by round by round by round until there's nothing left. So I think the best game plan for Daniel Jacobs would be to go out there first round, put it all out in the ring, make this like the fight of the year, and really go for it. Because if you're scared of getting hit by a GGG, you're just going to prolong the inevitable. But if you're not 100% with what you're doing either, you could get hit with a really hard shot. So whatever you do, you've got to be 100%, and you've got to be able to absorb the hits. Somebody's going to have to take shots from somebody. You know, Jacobs at some point is going to get hit by Golovkin. It's going to happen. This is a boxing match. So if he's scared to get hit, then it's not going to be this fight is not going to last long. I guarantee you, he will be knocked out if he's scared to be hit, because Golovkin is just going to pressure him, and then that will be it. If he tries to smother Golovkin's offense, he's going to leave himself open to a counter shot. Now here is where it should get interesting. If he can smother his offense and get enough shots off in that time, step out, he could anger Golovkin and get Golovkin to come forward to try and hurt him. And when Golovkin's coming forward, I don't know, he could try grab him, he could try and hold him. You can do a similar sort of thing which Andre Ward did against Kovalev. Just try to hold him up and try tag him, try to turn this into a boxing match. But it's just how far does Daniel Jacobs' plan go? Because when I'm looking at GGG's possible plan, it's very extensive. He's got 5 different ways, as I've described, which he's going to use to beat Jacobs. But when I see Jacobs' plan, it's more like, oh well, I'm a tough fighter, I'm going to adapt in the ring, anything he's got, I'm going to go back at it. But that's not specific. And without a specific game plan against, let's face it, he's not just a power puncher, he's a thinker. Against that, it's like a chess match. If you haven't fought 5 moves in front, then you're going to get beat. So I don't think that Jacobs is fully prepared for this fight. He may have watched the Kell Brook fight. He may have watched the William Monroe fight. William Monroe tried to outbox Golovkin, got hit with a hard shot, but actually did well on the inside. He did better on the inside than the outside. And I don't know if that was William Monroe's plan, but it was working. So has Jacobs watched that fight? Has he seen what he can do on the inside? Has he thought about staying close to GGG? Because it seems as if GGG has put the fear into his heart and made him fight his fight. He's putting the fear into his heart and he's like, no, you don't want to get close to me because you don't want to get knocked out. But really and truly, maybe the best way to beat this guy is to be up close and personal. Not allowing him not giving him any reach and range to be able to get his shots off. And I think that's what Kell Brook did well, but with movement. Because Kell Brook was shorter than him, he was able to jump in and jump out. He was shorter. He was able to get in underneath his arms, hit him with some uppercuts and hooks, and then get out with speed. Jacobs is the bigger man. He's not going to be able to get in and out that fast, but he could work on the inside and try and, let's face it, you got to rough this guy up. Otherwise, you're going to get knocked the hell out. If this guy don't want to arse whooping, he better go out there with 100% confidence. And that's the one thing I say he hasn't got. 100% confidence that he's going to win this. But anyway, this is my breakdown of GGG versus Jacobs. I've been talking for a while now. If you're watching this video, give me a like. Check out my earlier vids. And let's open this up, guys. Let's talk about this. And I want to see what you think. Drop it in the comments and let's have a discussion. We still got a few days. It's your boy D Valo, and I'll be back with some more boxing.